Are you looking for hot takes and guests yelling over top of each other? Well, you came to the wrong place. This is the final word where we talk about sports like they used to. All opinions are welcome, but that doesn't mean you are right. Hosted by Greg Rector. Welcome in.
Hey everybody, this is Greg Cowboys 1964. Tonight I'm going to talk about those who left us in the world of sports in 2025. It is always a very tough task. I normally write about this, but this year I decided, what the heck, I'm going to do this in a video format. Um, Greg Biffle, the NASCAR racer, passed away December the 15th. There were six other people who died in the plane crash with him. It was not an easy thing to wake up that morning to find out that he had passed away. Then, of course, there were many others who have passed away this year as well, um, including Ricky Hatton, the British boxer, Dwight Muhammad Qawi, who lost to Evander Holyfield in their cruiserweight title match in 1986. Mike Greenwell, former Boston Red Sox. Bobby Jenks, who was a great pitcher for the White Sox. Davey Johnson, who had managed the Mets. Ryan Sandberg. Randy Jones. But in the world of baseball, there was two men who stood out to me who passed away. First, of course, Dave Parker. This guy was a beast of a hitter. And if you were alive when I was for the We Are Family Pittsburgh Pirates, him and Willie McCovey were the two big bats on that team. Not Willie McCovey. Jeez. Oh, horrible. Willie Stargell was the other big bat with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And, of course, but Dave Parker was the younger hitter. He was the bigger bat and all that fun sort of stuff. He passed away just before he was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So that really sucked as far as when he passed away. But the other man, somebody I just grew up absolutely adoring with his guest appearances on The Tonight Show. Again, if you're not old enough to remember Johnny Carson and all that good sort of stuff, that's fine and dandy. But that man, Bob Uecker. Uecker was just a phenomenal human being. He spent 54 seasons as the play-by-play voice of the Milwaukee Brewers. He was just such a fun individual. Every time he came on with Johnny Carson, he would make Johnny Carson just roll on the floor laughing. I mean, he just had a way about him that was just magical to see. It was truly a special man. He was on Mr. Belvedere back in the 80s as well. And you don't expect Bob Uecker to be a guy who, would be a family type guy. You just didn't expect this, even though you grew up knowing that he had his own kids and all this other sort of stuff. But you just didn't think of Bob Uecker as that family guy that he showed he really was on Mr. Belvedere either. It was always a pleasure to see Mr. Uecker. He passed away 10 days before his 91st birthday, and he was just a phenomenal human being. Other people who passed away, Kenny Easley, the great safety of the Seattle Seahawks. He was a tremendous football player. Nick Mangold, the former center with the New York Jets. That was a horrible tragedy. Then there was Mr. Marshall, the Minnesota Vikings. one of the four guys that scared the hell out of people. Um, he was just a phenomenal football player. Bill McCartney, who ended up coaching the Colorado Buffaloes as well. Then there was Steve Mongo McMichael. Um, he was a member of that '85 Bears team. It was a very, very, very tough defense. You just people who weren't around at that time just do not understand what that Bears defense was really like playing against. If you're young enough to not have been around when the Bears '85 defense came around, they were just frightening. And Mongo McMichael was definitely one of those more frightening players. Then, of course, he had his professional wrestling career as well. Um, Mongo was just a nightmare man to deal with. Unfortunately, he had the ALS, which again really sucked. Um, Arthur Jones, who was a defensive lineman with the Baltimore Ravens. Brian Bramham, who was a linebacker with the Eagles. Dick Geron, who was a tremendous, tremendous defensive coordinator, as well, passed away. Then, another guy who passed away here was a big part of my youth growing up here in Canada. Their team destroyed the game of hockey, but Bernie Parent was just there. He was their goaltender. He led them to 2 straight Stanley Cups. He was just a solid goaltender. And he was a very good human being outside of the game as well. He did a lot for charity, as most of these players do as well. But again, Bernie Parent passed away. He was 80 years old. And then a guy that succeeded Parent with the Stanley Cups, Ken Dryden, who first came onto the scene and helped the Canadians win a Stanley Cup, then won the Calder Trophy as Rookie of the Year the next season. So, he was pretty decent in net. Although I always contend he had the 6th best defenseman in front of him. That's why he only faced 16 to 18 shots a night. So when you're only facing 16 to 18 shots a night, you should be able to stop most of them, right? But again, Dryden went on to have a political career up here in Canada as well. He only played the 10 seasons, but again, he was definitely worthy of the Hall of Fame and all that sort of stuff that he ended up being a part of. Alex Delvecchio, who was the captain of the Detroit Red Wings, he was a very, very good hockey player as well. Basketball saw Junior Bridgman pass away. He was a basketball legend from Louisville, and his service was well attended. Lenny Wilkins, who basically was he was a very good player. I know, yes, he played in the era of plumbers and firemen being in the NBA. Yeah, right. Give me a break. But again, Lenny Wilkins did lead the Seattle Supersonics to their world title against the Washington Bullets before they had to change their name. He was just a tremendous coach. He also coached up here with the Raptors. Just a tremendous man who, had a very long career. Gus Williams. He was also another NBA player who passed away this year. Fuzzy Zeller was just a tremendous golfer. He didn't get very far as PGA wins and all that other jazz goes, but when he did win the Masters in 1983. That was his first trip ever to Augusta. So you win at Augusta on your first visit. I think you get the mentions that he richly deserved. And then Jumbo Ozaki, who of course was the dominant Japanese golfer for many years, he passed away as well. Um, you know, those are some of the people who have passed away this year. The other man, of course, Hulk Hogan. As you saw, Jeff Barnes and myself did an episode based on Hogan, his career, and all that other jazz. As you well know, I'm not a fan of the fan favorites in the world of wrestling. I never have been, never really will be. I always like the villain. So, eat your prayers and say your vitamins and all that garbage. I didn't buy into that. I love the Iron Sheik, who he defeated for the world title, which was a absolute robbery. I said it. It was horrible. But again, Hogan passed away at the age of 72. Um, it was a very tough thing for wrestling fans. Um, it it was always something that I wasn't looking forward to, but you know that wrestlers do not live very long. They really don't. Um, so again, Hulk Hogan passed away, and then this man, Big George Foreman, and he was a big man. He was the last of the great heavyweights in that era, which included Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, and of course the greatest Muhammad Ali. Um, when I saw him destroy Joe Frazier, it, it it was a massacre, an absolute massacre, and he beat up Kenny Norton as well. So when he was going up against Ali at the fight in Zaire, I was worried because, of course, Muhammad was trying to become the man to repeat as a heavyweight champion, something that George Foreman would do 20 years later when he crushed Michael Moore. Um, and of course, Mr. Foreman became famous for the grill and all that other sort of stuff as well. But this guy was a huge, huge mass of humanity. You look at that fist, and wow, I'm telling you, when that man hit you, you were going down. How Ali stood up to that for the 8 rounds that he did was just amazing. His rope a dope strategy and all that other jazz. But the night that he fought Michael Moore, I just knew that Moore was going to lose. You just had this feeling. And when he came on and he pounded Moore, boom, lights out, goodbye. That was it. That was all. Um, Mr. Foreman um was always somebody who was entertaining, even though he was given this sullen disposition that he had when he was the champ and all that jazz. You knew that this guy actually had a good sense of humor, and things like that. And you see a show from the UK that had Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, and George Foreman on it, and you could just see Foreman absolutely lit up because he knew he was in that realm of the greats. He knew he was, and of course, when you lose that title, it messed him up for a while, but he got over that, and he came back and became the heavyweight champion of the world. So Mr. Foreman definitely gets kudos all around from me. Um, this one is going to hit home for me. As you all know, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. There he is, Monday Night Football, scoring the touchdown. And then 3 nights later, he's dead. Marshawn Nealon. You have no idea what was going through that man's mind. None of us do. None of us will. His girlfriend was pregnant with their baby, but he's gone. And this is always hard to uh, discuss the world of suicide, but mental health really matters. It really does matter. If there is something going on in your life, you need to talk to somebody. I have gone through PTSD for the last 30 years. And when you have PTSD nightmares the way that I have them, you need somebody to speak with, because it will chew you up inside. And we all know that his mother passed away too during the combine and all that other jazz as well, which, again, if that messed him up, well, it did. And, Marshawn Kneeland is no longer with us. It's sad to see. Again, these things do happen. It's unfortunate. But again, nobody understands what goes through anybody's mind. If you're in a conversation with anybody, you have really no idea what's going on in their mind. Nobody does. So again, Marshawn Kneeland left this world far too soon. And this one might be the toughest of all for me. Well, no, I'm gonna go first too. I'm gonna go first because, as everybody knows me, I am a Liverpool Reds fan. As you can see, LFC on my jersey, all that good sort of stuff. But there was a man by the name of Dennis Law who played for Manchester United, along with Bobby Charlton and George Best and all those clowns. Yes, I say clowns because they played for United, okay? But again, he scored he scored he was the third highest goal scorer ever for Manchester United. Some people call him the King, which is reserved for the King, Kenny Dalglish. I'm sorry. I prefer to call him by the Lawman and or Dennis the Menace, as us non-Manchester United fans would call him. He was a tremendous footballer, though, and he played for Scotland. He scored 30 goals for Scotland in his 55 caps with them, which is still the Scottish record. So Mr. Dennis Law was a very good footballer. Notice I didn't say soccer player. He's a footballer. So this last gentleman here really, really hit hard. As you all know, I'm a Liverpool Red, so I do say when you walk through a storm, you hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark at the end of a storm. There's a golden sky and the sweet silver song of the lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain. Through your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on, with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. Walk on, with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. July the 3rd, Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva passed away. Boy, this just really, really hurt. It truly, truly hurt. And it has hurt the Reds team as well. It has been a very, very difficult season for the Liverpool Reds, who, of course, last year won their 20th Premier League title, which ties them with the United people. And, of course, everybody was all happy with the free agent signings that the Liverpool Reds made. But, boy, when you lose this man 10 days before your first preseason game of the season, It's very, very, very difficult. And that was just this past Saturday. Those were his three kids. You can see the worry on Virgil van Dijk, the team captain. They were with him because, of course, they were playing the Wolverhampton Wolves, who was the first Premier League team he played for. Um, it it just is devastating, absolutely devastating. So he had just been married 11 days before, and then he was gone. This one really, really hit hard. Um, Again, it's never easy. I mean, you have 90-year-old Bob Euchre passing away. That was a hard day. But when somebody this young goes, like Marshawn Nealon did as well, you just are devastated. So again, it is never easy. Um, yeah, even the most social among us would never quite share everything they might wish to share, right? Eric, you're very right. Marshawn Nealon, um, and he did have Solomon Thomas and Dak Prescott, who both have suicide links as well. They have their own charities. He didn't speak to either one of them. You know, it really does suck. But again, the reason why I do this, usually I write an article about it, is just so that we remember these people for what they accomplished in the world of sports, but more importantly, just the fact that they were human beings as well. I don't understand why people don't get the human aspect of these athletes. You know, I could criticize a player for his play on the field, but unless they commit a criminal act, I'm not going to criticize them for their private affairs. And I'll even bring up Trayvon Diggs, who I know for a fact did not hurt himself putting up this 75-inch TV on a ladder. You just don't. That was just so stupid a story. Well, Trayvon, you're now gone. Um, you didn't want to do your rehab correctly. You didn't want to be in Dallas. Apparently now you wanted to stay more time with your family because they're from the DC area. Well, guess what? I was a United States Marine Corps member. I didn't get to go home for Christmas. I was in the field. Um, yeah, the tragedy of Trayvon. Um, so again, things happen in this world to all of us. Um, the loss of these people to their families is always going to be a painful moment for them. As I've gone through with losing my wife and my daughter, these things happen, and unfortunately, um, as the song says, though, you hold your head high. That's a huge reason why I'm a Liverpool Reds fan. Um, but again, seeing his children live on is something that we will get to see from time to time. But again, his wife Rute is just 11 days married. That was it. That was all. Um, Boy, what a loss! What an absolute loss! And to the girlfriend of Marshawn Nealand, apparently she's going to have a daughter. Um, I wish you very, very well. And so that's it, folks. Those are the folks that we lost in the world of sports this year. Um, Players do not merely exist within an entertainment jack in the box. They exist beyond public events is correct. Absolutely. Absolutely correct, Eric. You know, it's just something that it drives me off the deep end when people put these people in such a high standard that they can't do any wrong and all this other BS. We all make mistakes in this world, every one of us. Period. Bottom line. So be nice to everybody. Just be nice to everyone. That's the that's the lesson that maybe everybody needs more reminders of, especially in this time and place that we have politically. The Ukraine and Russia war, Israel and Palestine. Stop. Just stop. But again, unfortunately, wars are going to always happen. That's the bottom line here. So this has been the final word for those we lost in the world of 2025. I wish everybody a very good evening and have a happy new year. We will also be on January 1st after the final college game is on. With the last word, we'll see who's going to be moving on in the college football playoffs. And as well, we will also have NFL Draft Central coming up shortly as well. Bill Carroll, Randall Slifer, and myself will be going through our picks at each position. We'll have guests as well. I'm not sure which night of the week it's going to be on, but we'll figure that out. And everybody else, take care and have a happy new year.